You're listening to the Max Sports Daily, your source for a fresh new take on all the latest headlines from the world of sports. And now, here's your host, George Bennett.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Today is May 8th, 2017. And today, what else is there to say about LeBron James that we haven't already said? I think probably the most interesting thing was the brutal honesty yesterday coming from DeMar DeRozan, saying if we had LeBron on our team, we would have won too. I think what's clouded in all of this is how little we're seeing out of Kevin Love. Like, Kevin Love is pretty much a role player at this point in his career, given what he's doing for the Cavs, which is not much. Let's just look at his postseason numbers real quick. Let's see. Looks like he's averaging around 16 a game, which isn't terrible, but 14 a game, which, like I said, isn't terrible. 9 rebounds, just not the typical stat sheet stuffing we came to expect from him in Minnesota. But he hasn't done that since he arrived with the Cavs. I'm surprised we don't see more like blow up games by him. I'm looking at his 4 games in this series. His highest point total is 18. He only has one double-digit rebounding performance, and that was 14 in Game 3. But other than that, his next highest total was 9. It's just we're not seeing a whole lot of crooked numbers out of him in the stat sheet department. For somebody who's playing over 30 minutes a game and is a superstar in his own right, we come to expect a little more out of him, but it hasn't been necessary to this point. So maybe, who knows, maybe the limited usage within the system, maybe that's resting him enough so that when comes time they really need Kevin Love, he can dominate against the Warriors. But I don't know what else there is to say about the Cavs that has not already been said. I mean, LeBron is insane. In fact, I want to look up this stat I retweeted earlier this morning because it was pretty insane. Just a testament to what's going on with LeBron at this point. Okay, here it is. In Shaq's best season with the Lakers, he shot 62% in the paint. In this playoffs, LeBron is shooting 66% in the paint. And from beyond the three-point line, Stephen Curry's best season with the Warriors, he shot 46. Currently in these playoffs, LeBron's shooting 47%. And that's a very telling stat when he's doing it from inside and outside like that. There probably isn't anyone in the world that can stop him. I don't care who you are. Like, even my favorite player, Kawhi Leonard, can shut that down. Like, when you're talking about just an absolute dominating performance, like PJ Tucker. Like, I watching the game yesterday, I kind of felt bad for him because there were so many times he wasn't playing terrible defense on LeBron. In fact, he was playing pretty good defense on LeBron the entire way. And sometimes LeBron would just hit, like, contested three-pointers right in his face. And it's like, what do you do when something like that happens? And, yeah, look, LeBron's sort of, like, hiding some of the underperformances of pretty much everybody else on the offensive end. On the offensive end, it's mostly been LeBron, Kyrie, and Kyle Korver the last couple games. and not really getting much help out of other players. Iman Shumpert goes scoreless in 12 minutes in this one. J.R. Smith only puts up 3 in 21 minutes, 1 for 6 from 3. All his shots were 3-pointers too. Like, that's weird. But it's weird. As soon as I called out Kyle Korver last week, I think he heard me or something and started playing well, because his past couple games have been pretty spectacular. He puts up 18 in this one, and I think a couple of times I heard the announcers make the joke of, oh, he's the Kyle that really matters in this game, because Kyle Lowry was out for those last couple games, and he ends up going 4 for 6 from 3 in back-to-back games, 14 and 18 points off the bench respectively. So it's not a surprise that you're seeing sort of J.R. Smith sort of decline in the minutes as Kyle Korver starts to get more of those, because Kyle Korver's hitting his shot right now and J.R. Smith isn't. But yeah, Kevin Love needs to be thanking LeBron a lot, because LeBron is what's keeping Kevin Love's lack of performance sort of on the down low. But I tweeted out last night during the game, like, if LeBron's hitting threes like this, it's over. That's been the one thing left in his game that still had to come around, was that outside shot. And it's like throughout his career, LeBron James didn't come in the game with a great jumper. He was a guy who attacked the basket relentlessly, could pass the ball well. Wasn't necessarily the greatest floor general, but when you think about it, eventually his mid-range shot came. Eventually his defense came. Eventually his playmaking came, and he started with all that raw talent, and now it's developed into what is now a complete basketball player. Like I said, if he's going to shoot 47% from 3, and I know this will upset a lot of people, but it reminds me of when they told Jordan he couldn't shoot threes. And I know anytime you bring up Jordan's name, talking about LeBron, you're asking for it. But more so than ever, I'd say the past 10 months, LeBron has looked about as Jordan-esque as he possibly could. Like, in these playoffs especially. And last year's last 4 games of the finals. The last 3 games of the finals. But, you got some great efforts out of guys out of the Raptors, and they got something to look forward to heading forward. Not the greatest game out of Norman Powell, but I think he's a piece you can build around. DeMar DeRozan's still going to be there. DeMar Carroll obviously was a huge flop for you coming from Atlanta, so maybe you let him go. PJ Tucker proved invaluable in this game, and him being inserted into the starting lineup paid dividends, certainly. Patrick Patterson's the guy they're going to have to make a decision on. Corey Joseph played really well in his 40 minutes, filling in for Kyle Lowry. And it's one of those things. I don't know if the Raptors win this game with Lowry. I don't think they do. Given how Corey Joseph played, putting up 20 points and 12 assists, how much better realistically would Kyle Lowry have done than Corey Joseph? I don't think he might have even done worse, quite frankly. Given given what he had done up to this point, how they were losing with or without him. Valanciunas, I don't know. He's a iffy guy. Obviously, Serge Ibaka, you gave up a lot for him. You're keeping him around, but this this very this very well may have been, there we go, the end of, like, the closing of the window for the Raptors, or at least this iteration of the Raptors team. Don't really know how you come back next year and you beat Cleveland. Like, I don't know what they could possibly add in the off season. Like, obviously bringing back Kyle Lowry is a big priority of theirs, but I think with or without him, you're going down the Cavs. I think next year, if you're the Raptors, maybe you win 1 or 2 games over the Cavs if you're completely healthy, and assuming you build more chemistry with Ibaka and Tucker in the lineup. But as presently constituted, Cleveland's just miles ahead of anybody in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think anybody can ever hope to compete with them. Speaking of teams who can never hope to compete with Cleveland, yeah, you like that segue. Boston and Washington, they played another game, and I thought the Celtics, they had this, like, okay, Kelly Oubre's out for a game. Yes, you're on the road, but you already have the 2-1 lead. It's like you can just get a stranglehold on this series with a win here, and they were pretty much leading for the most part, most of the way through the first half, and then obviously the Wizards come back and tie it before halftime. However, Boston just fell apart, just utterly in the third quarter of this one. At one point, the Wizards went on a 26-0 run. Yes, a 26-0 run, led by obviously John Wall, and I don't think John Wall has ever seen a playoff game that he couldn't get 25 and 12 assists in. This one he goes for 27 and 12. So Bradley Beal, he finally shows up to the party, chips in 29. I think he led all scorers, but yeah, I think that's the biggest story out of all this is, like, when Bradley Beal's on, the Wizards look like they can't be stopped by the Celtics, but when Bradley Beal is not on, they look very beatable. The Wizards, when you really look at it, should really have swept this series. It's been a few plays here or there that have made the difference and allowed Boston to win 2 of these games. But at the same time, you look at it and it's like Boston should, in theory, be the better team. They should be. They should have more weapons coming off the bench, better defenders. It's starting to look like Brad Stevens is sort of getting exposed a little bit, but I don't know. It's like you got to get you got to sort of hide Isaiah Thomas on defense, and I don't know if the Celtics can necessarily do that. You can't have him going up one-on-one with a John Wall. You can't put him on Beal. So then what do you do with them when those two are in the game? You got to just hope for the best. It's like you need Isaiah Thomas for his offense, but his defense kills you so much. And as much as it would benefit you to say just run Marcus Smart and Avery Bradley as your backcourt, or maybe even sub out Bradley for like a Rozier or Gerald Green or Jaylen Brown or someone. You're losing so much in terms of offensive output that it doesn't become worth it. I don't know if Avery Bradley. I don't know what he's done to deserve his minutes in the lineup. He played 33 minutes last night and went 2 for 9 from the field. I know they've sort of limited the minutes of Amir Johnson as well in favor of Kelly Olynyk. That's probably a much better decision. Kelly Olynyk needs to stop putting up threes, though. That's not really what he's there for, but I just don't know with this series. Washington just seems like a team that loves to choke, and I could easily see them dominating a couple more games of this series and then just letting Boston pull away real quick at the end and end up losing this. Or I could see Boston just getting dominated and not coming back. It's all about Boston getting on that run where Isaiah Thomas just can't miss a shot. And when you keep hoping for that, it's like that can't just solely be your game plan in the end. And just defensively, like I've been saying it this whole series, if Washington gets its bigs going, it's over. And Markieff Morris, Marchand Gortat, these guys are starting to get it done a little bit. Otto Porter Jr. If you can't stop that front court, it's over. And the bench for Boston is supposed to be their calling card in all this. What's supposed to give them the edge over Washington. But you look at some of these minutes Washington starters are playing. They're playing 3 quarters plus. So they're not even going to allow the fact that their bench can't get it done to even become a factor. I mean, you look at Brandon Jennings. He played 18 minutes in this one and didn't score at a plus minus of -10. So, yeah, you look at it across the board. For Washington's starters, plus 31, plus 34, plus 34, plus 25, plus 18. It really tells you what's going on here. It's basically the depth of Boston is the only thing that's keeping them in this. And if you're still getting nothing out of guys like Jerebko, Brown, Green, like you got to get something out of these guys, Zeller, then I don't think Boston stands a chance. But at the end of the day, I don't really know. And none of us do. Anybody who tells you they do, then don't listen to them. Another series we don't know anything about. The Rockets and the Spurs. What is going on here? It's like the way I think about it is either like Houston hits their threes or they don't. Like they hit 19 threes in this one. Apparently, like they shot 22 uncontested threes. Most of them off James Harden's passes. Don't know what's going on here because you finally got Eric Gordon and Lou Williams involved. Don't know who this Brown guy is that ended up making an impact. Bobby Brown. Really, you're gonna go with Bobby? Like, why not Robert Brown or something, or Robbie Brown, or why Bobby? Like, anyway, yeah, I've never heard of that guy. But don't know what needs to happen. I didn't see the second half of this one. I watched a good chunk of the first half, and it was pretty back and forth. It was a close matchup, but Houston ends up pulling away in the third and fourth quarters and ended up winning by 21. Jonathan Simmons sighting 17 points for him off the bench, but every game of this series, man, it just leaves you scratching your head because like for the most part, none of them are close. And it's just huge swings one way or the other. The closest game in this series was decided by 11 points. And it's hard to predict things going forward when you see like a vastly different Houston team come on off the come off the bench every single night. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. If San Antonio can shut guys like Lou Williams and Eric Gordon down, and the Patrick Beverleys, the Trevor Ariza's, it's like if they can stop a solid 3 or 4 of Houston's offensive threats in any one given night, they win. And if Kawhi is like shooting absolutely ridiculous percentages, shooting like 86% from the field, they win. But you can say that about anybody. But like I said, I don't know what's going to happen in this one going forward. These are two very compelling series. I think after tonight they're going to be the only ones going on because Golden State's going for the sweep in Utah. So come Tuesday night, we're going to have a very interesting night. I think the games are going to start alternating between the two series left. So we'll get Houston and San Antonio on Tuesday. Wednesday we'll get Washington and Boston. But really big Game 5s coming up this week. And given the state of the Cavs and Warriors, like basically sucking the fun out of everything, it's going to be pretty nice to see that happen. We got a Game 7, in case no one was aware. We got a Game 7 going down between Anaheim and Edmonton after the Oilers just absolutely smacked the Ducks up 7-1. I did not see this one. I didn't even see that this one was on, quite frankly, but yeah, huge offensive explosion by the Oilers. I'm trying to see who actually put up the goals for them. Looks like this one guy whose name I can't pronounce put up 3. Leon. Okay, we're going to give this one a shot. It's German, so Dreisaitl, I think it is. Dreisaitl. I don't know. Some German dude put up 3 goals for the Oilers. Interesting. Not a goal or assist by Connor McDavid in this one. And if you ask me if the Oilers put up 7 and Connor McDavid didn't have a single point, I would have told you were lying. But hey, headed to a Game 7. That'll be, looks like in Anaheim. Yep, in Anaheim on Wednesday. So, and the winner of that game will go on to play the Predators, who polished off the Blues last night 3-1. I have to watch a little bit of this one. Pekka Rinne he's hot right now, and he's pretty much carrying the Preds right now. Him along with PK Subban and the rest of the guys on that team. But yeah, just a valiant effort by the Blues after putting up the upset in the first round over the Wild. But the Preds, it's really hard to stop the Preds right now. They're like I said, Pekka Rinne is on fire, and there aren't too many goalies out there who are playing better than him, if any. But Time to get to a couple of the weird stories of the day. Kristaps Porzingis apparently got his Twitter hacked, and someone just tweeted out LA Clippers and 3 smiley face emojis. One thing Kristaps wanted to point out is he doesn't even use that smiley face emoji, so it could have possibly been him that sent out that tweet, but I don't know. He like even showed his like frequently used emojis. Apparently, I'm just now looking at this. It's like one of them's a plane, a smiley face with heart eyes and cat ears, and I don't know. Any easy way to know if the Direct Sports Daily Twitter page has ever been hacked? If there's emojis of any kind on it at all, I'm very anti-emoji. So kids these days with their interwebs and whatnot. But anyway, apparently, like, some people were up in arms about this tweet because they thought, oh, is he saying he wants to be traded to the Clippers? Is he saying Carmelo's getting traded to the Clippers? It's like, oh, God. There's been too much time spent talking about the Knicks on this show. I apologize. But big game in baseball last night. Yeah. Baseball is going on. I know, like, it doesn't feel like it because it's so cold outside still, at least where I am. And by so cold, I mean it's like, I don't know, 40 degrees out. And I don't know. I still have the heat on, so it doesn't feel like we should be watching baseball yet. But apparently the Major League record for strikeouts in a game was broken last night with 48 strikeouts.
Incredible game. I mean, Johnny Lister was really, really good.
Not now, Joe Madden. But, yeah. Apparently 48 strikeouts were recorded in this one after they played 6 hours, 18 innings. And the Yankees end up getting the sweep of the series over the weekend over the Cubs by a score of 5-4. Now, 48 strikeouts is just insane. Like, you think after so many strikeouts, you just start having more patience at the plate just by both of these clubs. But, hey, apparently this lasted until like 2:15 in the morning. So, insane. I didn't watch any of that because obviously I was watching the first half of Houston and San Antonio. That I called it night so I could get up and do this. But what else is going on? Apparently Steve Kerr underwent a spinal cord leak procedure. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a doctor. But I don't think a lot of people want to say, oh, what does the Steve Kerr injury mean? I honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think it means anything. I don't, especially when you, and me and Rob talked about it, I think, on last week's show. He was on. I think of a lot of teams, it might mean something like, but for a playoff tested championship team like the Warriors, it doesn't really mean much. Apparently, Riley Cooper cannot find a job. The Buccaneers had him out for a tryout, and he did not impress them enough to get signed. John Ross is signed with the Bengals, so you're starting to see some of those rookies get signed. Rookie signing has not been an issue since, I think, a few collective bargaining agreements back when they added the rookie wage scale, which that was a long time overdue. Rookie contracts are getting insane. And ever since, I think other than like Joey Bosa, who had some issues this past season. You don't see guys go for these like long-term contract holdouts as rookies. I remember one of the more famous ones was Jamarcus Russell. He held out quite a long time. I was gonna look it up, but like, why make Google think I care about Jamarcus Russell? You know. Weird story coming out about Matt Harvey. Apparently, he plans to file a grievance against the Mets after he was suspended for 3 games by the team on Sunday. I apparently, like, they thought he didn't show up to the game on Saturday. And apparently there's all sorts of other events in his past that the Mets have taken some issue with. But I don't know. Matt Harvey, it's just been a huge roller coaster for him in New York. He at one point was thought to be like their ace, like that guy who was going to be a solid ace for them for years to come, and he has had some injuries over the past few seasons, and then Noah Syndergaard came up, and now Noah Syndergaard's gone down with an injury, so you think this would be Matt Harvey's opportunity to shine, but he clearly isn't taking advantage. And at 28 years old, it seems like the Mets just are not trying to deal with this at this point, but again, I don't know what's going to happen with all this. Will Matt Harvey eventually return to glory? I doubt it. I think what we've seen of him thus far this season and what he has been able to play, it hasn't been great. I mean, he's what, 2-2 with a 5 ERA, 13 walks, 20 strikeouts. Never good to have that sort of walk to strikeout ratio. His whip's at 1.29, which it can be worse, but it's certainly not great. Already given up 20 earned runs, only 35 innings. You gotta wonder what Matt Harvey's doing. If he didn't show up to Citi Field on Saturday, even though he wasn't going to pitch that day, it's not something you do. Pitchers always have to still show up on their off days. It's part of their contract. And oh god, this is one thing I gotta mention real quick, and that's all I really had to say about the Matt Harvey situation. This is one thing I gotta mention real quick before we get out. The greatest thing about the Raptors getting eliminated is we don't have to see Drake's face anymore. At least not until that stupid NBA awards show thing they've been talking up this whole time. But oh god, it is nothing worse than like Drake at Raptors playoff games. It's like when Jack Nicholson was doing it for the Lakers, it was cool, but now it's just like, can you please go away? Cardell Jones ended up graduating from Ohio State, so shout out to him, I guess. I guess he started playing school for once. So, and apparently people are contemplating raising the maximum age a person is allowed to try to climb Mount Everest after an 85-year-old man died attempting the feat. But I mean, when you're 85 and trying to climb Mount Everest, I guess he probably had some idea something like this could happen, and who knows? I'm sure You will be missed. Trying to find something else to talk about so we don't have to end the show on somebody dying on Everest, but can't find anything, so just gonna have to leave on that awkward note. Thanks for listening, everybody, and thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with more Direct Sports Daily.
This has been another episode of Direct Sports Daily. Thanks for listening, and to keep up with the show, follow us on Twitter at the DSD Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio, or visit our website, www.directsportsdaily.com.
Oh, wait, hold on. John Daly won a tournament yesterday? He bogeyed 3 times late and still managed to win a PGA. First PGA Tour event win since 2004. I had no idea John Daly even still played golf. Wow. See you tomorrow, guys.